May 14th, 2008. A quiet night in rural Minnesota. A 19-year-old college student is driving home after a long day when his car gets stuck on a lonely gravel road. He calls his parents for help, and for the next 47 minutes, they listen to him describe the darkness around him, his footsteps crunching in the distance. Until suddenly, Brandon Swanson whispers his last known words, "Oh, shht!" The call cuts off, and he is never seen again. Brandon Victor Swanson was just 19 years old, a typical American kid from Marshall, Minnesota. Friends described him as smart, friendly, a little shy, but with a good sense of humor. He had just finished his first year at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, studying wind energy. Brandon dreamed of working with renewable energy, and like any teenager, he loved video games, cars, and hanging out with his friends. He was the only child of Brian and Annette Swanson, their pride and joy. On the evening of May 13th, 2008, Brandon decided to celebrate the end of his college semester. He went to a friend's house in Lynn, Minnesota, about 10 minutes from his hometown of Marshall. By all accounts, it was a quiet gathering. Friends later confirmed that Brandon had a couple of drinks, but he was not intoxicated. In fact, everyone agreed he was completely sober and safe to drive. Just after midnight, Brandon left to head back home. The drive was supposed to take less than 30 minutes, but Brandon never made it. At around 1:15 a.m., Brandon's Chevy Lumina slipped off a narrow gravel road near Taunton, Minnesota. His car was stuck in a ditch. He wasn't injured, but he couldn't move the vehicle. So, like any teenager would, he called his parents. Brian and Annette Swanson immediately got into their pickup truck and started driving to find their son. Brandon kept describing the landmarks around him. He believed he was near the town of Lind, just south of Marshall. But when his parents reached the area, there was no sign of him. For the next 47 minutes, Brandon stayed on the phone with them, calmly describing his surroundings as he walked, headlights in the distance, the sound of running water nearby, until suddenly, "Oh, shht!" and then silence. Panicked, the Swansons drove frantically through the back roads, calling Brandon's phone again and again, but he never answered. By morning, the police were alerted, and the search for Brandon Swanson began. Authorities traced the call and discovered something shocking. Brandon was nowhere near Lind. His car had actually been abandoned outside the town of Taunton, 25 miles away from where he thought he was. His sense of direction that night was completely wrong, and that small mistake would make the search far more complicated. Search dogs tracked Brandon's scent to the Yellow Medicine River. Many investigators believe he tried to cross it in the dark, slipped, and drowned. But despite repeated dives and searches, no body was ever found. Another theory is exposure. It was a chilly night. Temperatures dropped below 40 degrees. If Brandon wandered too far into farmland or wooded areas, he could have succumbed to hypothermia. Minnesota's vast rural landscape is unforgiving. One wrong turn, and you're gone. Some believe Brandon may have encountered someone on those back roads. His sudden last words, "Oh, shit," suggest he saw something unexpected. Did he run into a stranger, a passing vehicle, or someone who didn't want him to survive that night? Police have never ruled out foul play. 17 years have passed. Brandon's parents still live with the pain of never knowing what happened to their only child. Every year, volunteers gather to remember him. And his case has led to a new law in Minnesota, Brandon's Law, which requires police to immediately begin searches for missing adults under suspicious circumstances. Brandon's case remains one of the most haunting mysteries in America. How can someone vanish into thin air while on the phone with his parents, just yards away from civilization? A young man with dreams of building the future, gone without a trace. And tonight we are left with only one chilling reminder, his final words, "Oh, shht." If you have any information about the disappearance of Brandon Swanson, please contact the Lyon County Sheriff's Office. For now, the mystery of Brandon Swanson lives on unanswered.